Batman The Dark Knight number 14, written by Greg Hurwitz, art by David Finch. Last issue we left off with Batman getting out of his trap and Scarecrow coming in with a big old scythe, and they're going to face down. And this issue is just them facing down, at least for the first half. So he's standing there like, Batman, you still got my fear toxin in you. You're definitely not up to snuff. And he's like, shut up and let's do this. So they start to fight, and it's all out. Like, Batman takes a scythe to the chest, and it goes in, like, pretty deep. And so Batman pulls out his grappling gun, and he uses it as a gun. He fires the grappling gun through Scarecrow's lower jaw, and it gets lodged into, like, the ceiling. And so Batman takes the opportunity to then crawl his way out, because clearly he is not in a good place. And Scarecrow yanks it away. He pulls it out of his lower jaw. It's now just pulsating blood everywhere. And he goes to the room where he's keeping the little girl and all that. He goes and he grabs one more toxin, this one labeled super toxin. And as he hears the girl crying, she's like, please let me out. I'm scared to be alone. And he picks her up and makes his way out of the building. But before he can, there's a loose wire. It catches Scarecrow's pants on fire. He drops the girl, tells her to run, and then the fire grows and consumes until it gets down to his lab, and the whole place just explodes, seemingly taking Scarecrow with it. So then Batman, he's still got his scythe like lodged in his chest, and he's just hobbling down the street as a gang passes by, and they're like, dude, is that Batman? Dude, we could kill Batman. Let's do that. Let's kill Batman. So they go in to attack him with just a normal knife. And Robin shows up and is just like, hey, I found Batman, Pennyworth. He's not in good shape. We got to get him home. So a few hours later, Batman's in bed. Damian's sitting by his side. And he's just like, hey, we were worried about your dad. Like, it was a lot going on, but you're here now. You're safe. And Bruce just looks over and says, like, I'm glad you're here, Damian. And Damian sheds a little tear. So then news crew and police are all at Scarecrow's lab, and they're just like, all right, well, we can't find any bodies or anything like that, but we do think that Scarecrow was the one behind this. 6-year-old girl was recovered. Police currently have her and are taking a statement, and yeah, all that. And then we see down in the basement of the place, Scarecrow is actually still alive, and he's just super pissed off. He's like, all right, you want to play Batman? Fine, let's play. So they take the statement from the little girl, and the girl basically doesn't know anything because she was kept in that room, but she does know, like, there was a map on the wall and some marks on it, and she thinks maybe if, like, she saw the map again, she'd be able to, like, remember where the marks were, but she doesn't know where the map was to specifically. So the police are like, all right, well, Scarecrow's still out there. Let's see what he's up to. And the girl's like, he's not all bad. Like, he's just got some issues. Like, he messed up in the head, like that guy. And she just points over to Batman, who's just standing behind a filing cabinet. Like, she's like, you better be careful, because now he's all angry. So we cut over to the Iceberg Casino, where Penguin's just intimidating some random guy. And Scarecrow steps in and is just like, hey, do you have a minute? And he's like, yeah, sure. Just hold on 1 second. So they talk to Scarecrow, and whose still mouth is just, his lower jaw's just hanging off right now. And Penguin's like, you need to get that looked at, man. But Scarecrow's like, look, have you made the arrangements? And he's like, yeah, but I need to be paid first. So he pulls out this bag full of diamonds. And apparently he got it from a jeweler who had a phobia of scarecrows, and he lifted it off him. And Penguin's like, all right, well, yep, I hope there's extra in here to clean up the carpets after you leave. Jesus. So they say that he's almost finished building this thing that Scarecrow wants, and it'll be ready just in time for Christmas. So we see that it is basically a blimp. And as Christmas time rolls around, Scarecrow launches up the blimp, and he says over and over again, this is the way the world ends, not with a whimper, but with a bang. And he flies the blimp over the streets of Gotham during a Christmas parade. He spits out a bunch of gas that covers the streets, and now everyone is infected with some super fear toxin that causes things like people tearing their faces off, people eating the flesh of other people, throwing shopping carts. It's a bad time. Honestly, when this issue started, I thought it was the end of the arc. I thought it was just going to be the thing of like, Scarecrow is not okay, and he has been left to die in his place. And then they just show that he's alive again, and he's still planning stuff. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, guess we're still going. I think that the pacing for the overall arc has felt weird. It felt so slow up to this point, but then this one just feels like it's like, nope, Scarecrow was defeated, then he got out and he made a blimp, and now he's gassing all of Gotham. It's like, okay, that's like a 3-issue thing in its own right. It just felt really fast compared to the pace they were going before, at least. I think I'd be more okay with it if, the last, what was it, been 4 issues have all been condensed into like 2. That seems more reasonable to me. But yeah, no, it's a fine issue. I don't have any like major problems with it. Pacing just feels weird in the larger sense. So overall, oh, and by the way, Scarecrow, disgusting. Like, they really focus on how his jaw is not okay. And it is effective. I will give them that. So overall, I'm going to give it an 8. I think that's a solid enough issue to deserve an 8. I couldn't really tell you exactly why not a 7.5 or an 8.5, but 8 just feels right for this, and just how gross it truly is.